You should see Dan's screen. It says the prosperity game, and here me. Looks like Lisa's got us covered. Okay, cool. So this is Andrea Goodsed. I'm one of the co-creators of the Mastermind Partner Program, and I'm pleased to be able to bring Dan Harr to our group this for the next couple weeks. Really, we're going to be doing something called the Prosperity Game. Who's breathing on their mic? Who's breathing on their mic?
Well, mine
Anyway.
is off, so it's Dan.
Okay. Anyway, so the prosperity game, I kind of know what it's about, but we're going to let Dan Harr bring us up to speed on everything. Dan and I and Kelvin, who you just heard from, we're all on an alliance team for a product this past summer where we got to know each other pretty well and figured out that we liked working together. So this is one of Dan's areas of passion, and we're glad to be able to support you in this, Dan.
Hey, thanks, Andrea. I'm very excited to be here today. I got to tell you, I've just been so excited by all the response to this game. All the people have joined here on the webinar today and going to be listening to us on the recorded version. So let me tell you what had happened. So let me introduce myself. My name's Dan Harr. About 30 years ago, I got involved in the personal development industry. Was in that industry for 15 or 20 years before I went into the construction industry and created a bunch of money that way. But I created some great friends in that industry, and one of them, his name is Dr. Ray Blanchard. He's a friend of mine on Facebook, and I saw that he was playing this game called the Prosperity Game. And so I asked if I could join, and I played that. That was last month, and I played that game for about a week. I remember sharing with Andrea and Kelvin some of the challenges that I noticed and some of the things that I noticed about prosperity while playing that game. And halfway through that game, I got so busy. I had the busiest 2 weeks, the most profitable 2 weeks that I ever had. I had to stop playing the game, and I was so excited about those results that I wanted to play the game again. And so first off, I just want to say thank you so much to Andrea and Kelvin for helping me out. This is part of the Mastermind Partner Program, and we've put our talents together to bring this game to you today. And so to give some perspective on this game, what I'd like to do is tell you this little story right here. An old Cherokee told his grandson, "My son, there's a battle between two wolves inside of us. One is evil, one is anger. Jealousy, greed, resentment, inferiority, lies, and ego. And the other is good. It's joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness, empathy, and truth." The boy thought about it and asked his grandfather, "Which wolf wins?" And the old man quietly replied, "The one you feed." Now, the reason I want to share this with you is what the old Cherokee, I believe, was referring to in this metaphor of the wolf is the mindset, and that our character, the way that we see people, the opportunities, the world around us, including the results in our life, are dependent on which mindset we exercise and what it is that we allow to run around in between our ears. Maybe it's that wolf. Now, I've come to see that the prosperity game is a way to feed the prosperity mindset, and in doing so, shift the way that we see things in our life, and more importantly, the things that we attract in our life. So let me go back to this. So, what would it be like for us if we could have those unlimited resources? If we could attract the material and that technology, I mean, if we had everything that we ever desired, and what if everything you needed to do everything that you wanted, what if it was all there for you? I mean, how awesome would life be when we could dream and then do it and then see it happen quickly and easily? Well, that's what can happen in this prosperity game when we shift our mindset. And what would happen if you knew that the money was going to be there every day? That was the part for me that I found exciting about the prosperity game, is seeing them in this game, the resources coming every single day and compounding over time. Now, one of the other things besides this part about the being the strengthen that receiving muscles, right, is that the whole part about dreaming and receiving is an exercise, and whatever muscle, just like whatever wolf we feed, whatever muscles we exercise are become stronger, and that this game is going to help us do that. And not only that, it's going to expand for us this sense of what's possible in our lives. What's possible? What could we create? One of the things that came up for me is, how do I deliver that much value to receive that much money? And it was a very challenging place, and we'll get into that throughout the game. And what happens is, as you develop the prosperity mindset, it happens to every area of your life, right? It affects those results in every area of your life. Now, when we expand this ability to experience increasing amounts of income into our life, it starts to happen. And I saw that happen for me. And you know what? I'd like to see that happen for you too. Now, here's how the game works. It's pretty easy. Haven't figured out. Starting tomorrow, and each day for the next 2 weeks, you're going to receive this virtual check in your email box. So if you haven't got registered on the for the emails, get registered so you can receive this check in the mail, and it will give you some instructions about what you to do. And here's what you have to do. You go simply think about this, and then go to the Facebook page and announce to the group where the money came from and how you're going to allocate it. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just go to the page. Now, it seems simple, and it starts out simple, and as we grow, like we said, the act, go post on make a post on a Facebook page, is a pretty simple act to do. And the part how we exercise that mindset, and here is that it's as we go into the process, it's not always so easy. In fact, well, I'll tell you about my friend Betty a little later. So listen, here, let's get to this part in the workbook. Oh, I didn't go into that. So now there's a Facebook page, the Mastermind Partner, the Prosperity Game Mastermind Partners. And on that page in the top is a little Files tab. And if you go to that Files tab, you can download this workbook right here that I'm using to do this presentation. And I want you to get that workbook, and we're going to go over that. Now, one of the definitions for manifesting is that we can attract results quickly and easily, and that the results that we attract are lasting results. And now here's the part that is a little, well, let's just talk to this about the manifesting. You know, we really attract results from nothing. You know, there's nothing that you can put your finger on that the results come from. It's beyond the physical world. It's the universe or God or however you want to it comes from someplace that's outside of our physical universe. It's a spiritual connection. It's a vibration, and we'll get more into that a little later. Okay? Now, there is an abundance of information available to everyone. All right? The question is, what information are you tapping into? And, oh, I missed one, huh? So let me back that one up then. So, look, we're already manifesting, right? The results we have right now are a manifestation of this vibration that we put out. And those results, what we put out, the value we put out, and how that vibration comes out in value, in contribution to other people, in the way that we interact with people, creates the results that we have in our life. And the key to this manifestation process is, how do we become intentional, about what it is that we're manifesting. So this the manifesting definition, if we look at it, kind of sounds like this. If we take this attracting results or quickly and easily, and that we attract lasting results, and that we're already manifesting results, and there's abundance of information available to us, the manifesting definition sounds like this. We're already attracting lasting results quickly and easily from a source beyond our physical world. And given that, if we're already doing it, then if we focus our attention, we can do it in a way that is going to give us everything we've ever desired. And so let me get to this. I like this one here. Oh yeah, these questions. Let me see. All right, so I want to talk about conscious creation. Where is that? Oh, there it is right there. Okay, manifesting formula, conscious creation. Okay, the CC in this formula is conscious creation and equals our desire minus our resistance. So here's what happens in the game for many people, myself being one of them, that some resistance comes up during the game. A quote from one of the participants, my friend Betty, here's what she said. She said, I dropped off yesterday. $128,000 all at once was my wall. So Betty got to this wall in this game that said, this is just too much for me. I can't handle that. You know, now, I did not have that problem. I was very excited about the game and how it came up. And so one of the things that as the game comes across, we're going to ask these three very important questions, because what happened for Betty was she ran up against some resistance. And as we ask these questions, it helps us notice this resistance and deal with it in such a way that we can set it aside. So the first question is it possible? And is it possible without knowing how, without having a plan? Is it possible? And we have to be able to answer this question yes to what it is that we're playing the game for, or really we're not doing ourselves a service. And as we ask the question, if the answer is not yes, we're going to have a chance to notice what it is that we're resisting. Remember, you know, conscious creation is desire minus resistance. So now, is it okay? That's another great question that we're going to ask in this game. Is it okay? Is it okay for me to, this is your own unique answer. What did you think I was going to say? What would you like to write in there? And see, these are the two questions that we're going to go over, talk some more about as we go through this process. Is it okay for me to be what it is that I've always been thinking about dreaming and having and wanting in my life? Is it okay for me to have all of these things, you know? And what is it that you intend to attract, right? So I want to make a distinction here versus what do you want versus what it is that you intend to attract. You know, what do you want draws out a visceral response, something inside of us. And going around saying, I want this and I want this and I want this is kind of like a childish approach to fulfilling your desires. Now, intend, on the other hand, it kind of promotes this plan of action with a purpose. And attracting, now this is the part for me that I like about attracting, is it says to me that who I am and how I am is what is going to be the factor in the results of my life, right? It doesn't denote that I'm shifting other people or my circumstances or the government or my job or my boss. None of that are outside of me, right? It doesn't say that I'm going to out there and get something and bring it to me. I'm going to get a job, or I'm going to get some money, or I'm going to get a car. It says I'm going to attract, which means I'm going to vibrate in such a way, I'm going to produce, cause outside of me from who I am and how I participate in the world, the results are going to come and to me as a process of that versus going out and get it. And that's how we talk about this thing. Okay, so here's we are. Because and that leads to this question: manifesting money is really, it's impossible, right? We can't manifest money. We can print it on our printer, looks pretty good. You might go out and become a counterfeiter, but only really the government can manifest money, right? But what we can do is we can manifest the support that we need, the environment that we need, the people that we need, the technologies that we need to attract more money in our life. We can manifest the kind of contribution that brings money to us. Now, in this game, what we want to do is we want to focus on the meaning of the money and focus on the value that we deliver. And in the game, there's going to play with this assumption of responsibility. Personal responsibility for my results. And this is true about the results that we have now and the ones that we have in the future. And the good news is that, maybe that old Cherokee Indian was right. If we feed the right wolf, then we're going to reap the right reward. And it brings me to a Jim Rohn quote, which I don't have here, but it leads into this formula. And, it's not what happens that determines the major part of your future. What happens to us all. It's what you do about what happens that counts. So now this formula right here is a formula I heard from Jack Canfield, this manifesting formula, E plus R equals O. The event, like Jim Rohn said, event happens to us all, right? Plus the response, our response to the event. Remember, we are personally responsible for the results that we have in our life, and that includes our ability to respond, equals our outcome, right? So event plus response equals outcome. Now, here's the good news is the one thing we have full control over is the only thing we have to change in order to change the formula. We change our response because the events are always going to happen. They happen to everyone. The government's going to be the government. The economy's going to be the economy. Our response is what we have full control over, is going to change the outcome. So that's the good news, because we have the ability to shift our response. Now, here's one simple thing about how to get the maximum benefit out of this game, and that's participation. All right? Way to participation is the 100% participation gets the maximum results. And so people are sometimes reluctant to be uncomfortable. And like our friend Betty, she got a little uncomfortable, $128,000. She stopped participating. That might happen for some people, and I hope it doesn't happen for you. My question is, are you willing to be uncomfortable? Because as these dollar figures grow, I'm telling you, it can start to confront some of your beliefs about money. And that's the great thing, because as we notice this, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, as we notice this without judgment, we're going to start to see how we can see the prosperity mindset that we currently have and how we can expand that. So I don't want you to be like my friend Betty, right? All we have to, and so that's why I've made the game really simple. All we've got to do, get the email for 14 days, open the email, there's a check in there, you tell us, you go to the Facebook page, you tell us where did it come from and what you're going to do with it. All right? It's fun, it's exciting, it's confronting, it's challenging, it's a fantastic way to exercise your prosperity mindset. And I was so excited with it. I'm playing it again because I want to retain those results in my life and attain more of the things that I've desired deeply that I want to have in my life. And so one thing, though, in the game that we must consider is that our debts are paid. right? This is not about paying off grandma or paying off the IRS, or this is about taking your money and using it in a way that is prosperous for you and for the people in your life and for your community. So, um, let's see. Yeah, Andrea, I I'd like to know if anybody has any questions, or if you have any questions so far, something maybe I missed or left
Yeah.
a hole out about.
The only thing I want to double check is that we're starting the checks on Monday, though, right?
That is
Not
correct. We are
not
starting the
tomorrow.
checks on Monday, and I'll tell you at the end why we're going to be doing that.
Okay.
Um, but
Yeah, you had said tomorrow because it said it on your slide.
oh yes, okay, very good. I'm sorry about that. Thank you for
No problem.
uh,
I don't
fixing
see
it.
any questions. Does anybody have any questions, or is everything pretty clear? I don't type in the questions box just so I can see that it's working. Somebody, anybody, or raise your hand. I guess would be another way. I don't know. Can you guys hear us? They've all dozed off. Yes.
All right, very good. All right, cool. So then let me go to the next one. And if somebody's got some questions, put them in here, and Andrea, you can interject, I'm sure. Now,
Okay.
look,
Somebody's hold on one second. Somebody's asking if after we've done this, if you would put the answers in the blanks.
will
Um,
I fill in the blanks on the PDF and send that up? Sure, I will. I can do that. Absolutely. That would be a
yeah,
fun thing to do. Um,
yeah.
I
It
can
says
put that
about
out,
now.
and I'll have it up in the morning, which for me starts tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be about 4.
Okay. Yeah. That way they don't have to print the pages out to see.
That's correct. Yes, I understand. Makes very good sense.
Okay.
So I will do that. Um, okay, so now as I was doing some research about this game, because honestly, the first time I ever heard about the game was last month. Here's what I found out: it was um, developed and conceived by a man named Abraham Hicks. Maybe you've heard of him. He's a
Mhm.
very famous prosperity mindset coach. This game has been played hundreds of ways and by thousands of people, maybe millions. Um, and as I was doing some of my research, I saw how some of these games were really complicated and intense and massive, applications to fill out. I didn't want to go through all of that because I wanted to, hey, one of the things about manifesting is supposed to be quick and easy, right? So we make the game quick and easy. And the way to create maximum results is maximum participation. So what I thought I would do is add to you some of the things uh, that proposing them to you because they are going to give us some great distinctions about the prosperity game in the process of these other things I've saw as how to play the game. So these are just like above and beyond. If you want to play, you don't have to play. That's not what the game's about. The game's about get the check, post it on Facebook, and let's discuss how and notice what kind of things come up. But here's how we are going to look at this here. Okay, so one of the things that everybody had was journaling, and so journaling is a great process because it slows us down to think, slows down our mind, and it captures our ideas and our insights and our intuitions. Um, and I'll be honest with you, and I'll share with you later. I did this journaling exercise just before this webinar as a way of grounding myself for the webinar. And I finally settled down after Andrea asked the questions. So let's get going. So now, listen, here's the thing. This
Well,
creates like this a baseline to refer back to. I met Jim Rohn 16 years ago. I got some personal coaching from him. One of the things I learned from him is to have a journal. And actually, when my internet is down sometimes, I actually refer to some of those journals for ideas for content now. And they're great because I actually have some from 30 years ago, and I get to see how far I've come and how far I still have to go in creating those dreams that I've had for all of my life. So now, whether you decide to journal in the prosperity game or not, here are some of these distinctions. And I want to tell you the story about the good bear, bad bear. I live in the mountains up here. It's winter time. At the end of the winter, the bears are going to come out of hibernation. Now, I want you to imagine the bear. The bear's coming out of hibernation, and he's hungry. And so he has this need, this felt need inside of him to feed that hunger. Maybe you've got a hunger too. You know what I'm talking about. And so that bear, he, comes out of wherever it is he's hibernating from, underneath the log or in a little cave or behind a rock. And he comes out and he turns over a log and he gets some grubs, right? And he eats those grubs and it fulfills that need. And he goes over to the next log and he turns over that log and there's some more grubs. And he grabs those grubs and he fulfills that need. He goes over to the next log and he turns over that log and there are no grubs. Now, here's what happens. Human beings go, no, wait, there's supposed to be grubs in here, right? But see and we get into this judgment because we have these patterns that have repeated over time. And so we keep turning over log after log after log and there are no more grubs. And we keep going back through this process. Now the bear, on the other hand, goes, there are no grubs here. And so, there are berries. See, the bear doesn't go into this judgment about how the process is supposed to happen. The bear goes into the felt need. So the bear is going to dig up some roots, and he's going to eat those roots. He's going to find some berries. He's going to eat those berries. And hopefully he didn't hibernate too close to your house, or he's going to rip into your garbage can is eat something that's in there. Because the bear is just looking to fulfill that need. But he does it without a judgment. Right? And not a judgment about where things are supposed to be or how things are supposed to be in order for him to fulfill his need. He just keeps searching for places to go to fulfill his need. And so, and without the judgment, everything is an option to the bear to eat. And so bears will eat just about anything that it can get its hands on. And so, And so, you give that analogy, when the bear turns over that log that doesn't, and it works. And when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And one of the, this is one of the philosophies that I use right here, these 3 questions in coaching someone when I'm talking to them about their goals and their commitments is I ask what worked, what doesn't work, and what are we going to do next, right? And that's part of this whole process of noticing without judgment. What did I like or how did I feel about it, although that's part of creating process. And when we notice without our judgment, we're noticing in that kind of manner. So now here's the daily journal, right? And this is exactly the process that I went through today just before I did this whole process. Who am I? I went through that process, my core essence in myself. I desire to teach and lead people to fulfilling their desires and dreams for their life. And I'm a visionary who wants to see people create vision for their life. And so that's why I'm here today, right? My role is a personal development speaker and an author, and I've chosen that role to really fulfill that. And my unique talents, I'm an inspirational, great speaker. I'm a great teacher. And my contribution is that I'm very excited and enthusiastic about this game right here. And so I just want to tell you that what I am intending to attract in this game is an environment of prosperous friends. And I'm very, very glad that you guys are here to be a part of that. And so is it possible? Yes. Is it okay? Is it okay to have an environment of friends who have a prosperous mindset and who want to contribute to the possibility that just about anything can happen if we put our mindset to it, and not just our mind to it, but our mindset. And then the next question is, am I ready? Am I ready to deliver a great event? Is what I wrote down there in my journal, and the answer was yes. Yes, I am ready to deliver a great event. And how I feel at the end when I achieve my intended results, I'm going to be excited, enthusiastic, and I'm going to have opportunity to play this game with a bunch of my friends and see the results affect my entire life and your entire life as well. So now here's where the part is that I was finding very exciting about this prosperity game, this concept of letting go of attachments, because we all can set goals and we all can go out there, we create a desire, we go set a goal, we go take some action. We create a desire, go set a goal, go take an action. We wonder why it doesn't work as well as we would like it to. Well, we go back to that formula earlier, conscious creation equals desire minus resistance. And so part of this daily journal is to notice the resistance and the appreciations and the attachments that come up for us in the process of playing this game. So what am I grateful for? What are the infinite possibilities that, and it's, well, let me talk to you about this. What am I grateful for, especially in the areas in which I wish to manifest my prosperity? So Andrea and Kelvin, thank you both very much for being here. Because if it wasn't for you and your partnership and your friendship and your contribution to this event, I wouldn't have been able to put it together. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. And here's the infinite possibility that I see this prosperity game being a part of, and that is that I will affect 1 million lives with my life in some positive way. And so you're all here listening to this today are a part of those 1 million lives that I intend to affect. And now here's where it comes again. Now I got to tell you, I went to this part in the daily journal. Is it possible? Is it okay? Am I ready? I got to tell you, I noticed that, some things came up, so notice what comes up and which wolf is easily present in your mindset when we're talking about the desires and the dreams that it is that we want to have in our life. And when we ask these questions about what it is that we truly desire, can we learn to feed the wolf of prosperity, right? Can we learn to build that mindset? And accept and allow is a great part of that process. What will I allow to matter to me? Which wolf will I feed? And what is it? Am I going to spend my time feeding the desire that I have, or the things that don't look like what it is that I really want in my life? See, we can talk about and see the future worth having, or we can talk about all the problems in the world and why it isn't the way we wish it was. And whichever one we talk about, we're going to attract in our life. That's the vibration that we're putting out, and I'm going to get into that really soon. But then, that's where we get to this last step. What are my inspired actions to take? And, in this daily journal, we put down one. Now, like I said, this is an above and beyond step that someone would take if they want to, participate at that maximum level. Now, here is one of my favorite concepts, and that is applied significance. And I think here's the best way. One of the things I get to do in my personal development speaking is I get to do some weddings now and then. And one of the things that I always say at the wedding is that here's a story I want you to picture in your mind. Imagine a little girl, maybe 5, maybe 7, maybe 9, and she's rummaging around in her mom's closet, and she finds a box, and she opens the box, and in it is her mom's wedding dress. And she puts it on, and she stands in front of that mirror. Well, see, that from that point on, that little girl dreams about the day of her wedding, and she applies significance to that day for the better part of her life until that day comes along. And that's why I want to talk about applied significance. You see, until we have something that we really desire and we really dream about it, and like I say in my videos, dream about it and scheme about it and dream about it and believe about it until we become about it in everything that we say and everything that we do. And that's that manifesting process, right? That, and if we really don't have that dream and that desire to do something, then well, quite frankly, it's real easy to quit, right? And so, one of the I have a video out that talks about that. We talk about our goals, how many by when, and what we're going to do by when we're going to do it. But if we don't attach a meaningful desire, a meaningful purpose, that the reason I'm doing this goal, the reason I'm doing this webinar is because I want that environment of friends and that community of people who dream and scheme prosperously. And that's what I want in my life. And so I'm going to apply my energies to that and do that. And it's about a purpose. Or, it would have been easy to go out tonight for drinks. Friday night, we go have a blast, do something else. No, that's not what my life's about. It's about making a difference. So purpose leads to enthusiasm. And that's why, when you're excited, for me, 2 days ago, I was up at 2:30. I couldn't sleep. I was so excited about putting this webinar together. I hope you guys are enjoying it and loving it, and I hope this game has a great effect on your results in your life. And so here is what I did in the game, and I'm going to invite you to do in the game, is I played this game as if everything that I ever dreamed about, all these online activities and all of these webinars that I've done and my books that I want to sell to people online, I played the game as if that just started exploding into my life. It was so exciting, and that's my desire for you. And I want you to think about and start to scheme about and dream about your life, your business that you're doing right now, the thing that you really want to have happen for you. I want you to dream about that exploding. And for the next 14 days, what we're going to do is we're going to celebrate. We're going to apply significance to your exploding dreams, your exploding vision for the life that you deserve to create. And so that's where we get into this vibration part. Now, the prosperity game is about raising our vibrations around money, right? And you guys can read this. I'm going to tell you this little story. Look, from the tiniest atom that has a nucleus with these little things, protons and neutrons, whatever they're called, going around them, that's a vibration put off, and that vibration attracts those protons and neurons to go around that nucleus. And those atoms attract to other ones. As small as the atom, it works just as big as, just like on Earth. The Earth is so big, it attracts us to it, and that's why on the Earth, because the Earth is so big, I weigh 165 pounds. And if I was on the moon, I weigh a lot less, because the moon has a lot less attraction to me, on me, than the Earth does. So if you see what I'm talking about, from the smallest little vibrations attract things to the biggest massive thing attracts things. This vibration that we put out it attracts things, and we have the opportunity to, in this game, change the vibrations. And that's where this noticing part comes in, because as we're playing this game and we're thinking about, is it okay, is it possible, am I ready, and those things come up, we're going to notice the vibrations that we currently have that are creating our current results, and we're going to have an opportunity through this game to shift those. So, and it's going to be a great opportunity to notice which wolf is running around between our ears, spending most of his time, which one we're feeding, and you know what? We can evict the bad renters of our mindset by just raising the rent a little bit and requiring ourselves, right? That's what I mean by raise the rent, requiring ourselves to be a little diligent about what it is for the next 2 weeks. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life, right? You can go back to your own mindset when the game is done. I'm not going to take that away from you. But when I'm going to ask you for 2 weeks, just notice what's going around in your mind and play the game and of your whole life with this vibration that it is possible, that it is okay, and that I am ready, and that who I am and how I participate is attracting the results I have in my life. And if I don't like what's going on around me right now, all I got to do is change me, and I'll start attracting what it is that I want. And so that's the whole part about the question, the prosperity game. And so here are a couple tips for the mastery level participation. And so if you have some questions, write them down now, plug them in there. Andrea can go over and test them, ask them of me right after I go through this. This is the last page of our workbook, and so I want to get to that. So here's where we're at. Look, you do that daily journal like I was talking about. That's a great method. Do it for 40 days. Here's the other part I want you to do. I want you to invite your friends, right? Because if you, just like I told you, here's my goal. The whole reason for playing this game. I want to build a relationship of people and an environment and a community of people that have a prosperity mindset, because that is going to assist me in my prosperity. And so if I share that with other people and I hang out with people who have that mindset and I participate with people that have that mindset, I am more likely to retain that mindset after the 14 days the game is gone. So go invite your friends. Bring them on. Here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, I'm going to send out an email. In that email, we're going to have the link to this recording. All weekend long, you can invite all your friends. Share the link to this recording with all of your friends, and you can invite them to the game. Before Sunday night, midnight, they can register. Same way that you registered. The link will be in the email, so you can just spread that out to your friends. They can watch the webinar, join the game, and they can start playing along with us. We're going to start Monday morning, right, with the checks. So invite your friends. Now, here's another one. This is another thing I found in doing my research, right? Record 100 things that you'd most like to be, do, or have on a separate page in your journal. And collect those things. You know, now when we're talking about be, we're talking about our essence and, you know, the skills, our talents, the roles that we play, our unique outlook on the world. And then the activities, the adventures, the excitement, the places we want to go, the activities we want to do, the contributions we want to make for people, the accomplishments that we want to have in our life. Like writing my book. I want to tell you, finally writing my book finishing my book at 51 years old was a great accomplishment for me. I desired to do for a whole lifetime. And so when you do that, it opens up whole new possibilities. And then also, you know, what things do you want to have, the material possessions that you want to have. And we're going to get into that later on into the game as we start to see what it comes up around receiving material possessions. And then here's the other part. You know, I don't know if I want to go through this or not. I'm not sure. I might try this one out. Is to keep a bank account for the game. Okay, open a spreadsheet or Quicken File, right, and keep a bank account of where it is that you spend your money. It's to create the reality of the game, right? And whatever that you can do to make this game, what we're going to do right now, if you play the game like I request, you know, my suggestion is that you know, dream about everything that you want exploding out in the next 14 days to the biggest thing it could ever be. And I tell you, when we get to the end, you can't even imagine right now how big you're going to have to think in order to get to the end of this game. Do whatever you can to make it real for you. All right. And then we're going to have another call. I think it's scheduled for the 5th of February, where we are going to do some sharing and some insights. And so that webinar, I'm not going to talk so much. I'm going to have more people talking about the insights and the experiences that they're having as a result of playing this game. So that's what's coming up. So Andrea, are there any other questions that people have around the webinar now?
Well, let's take a look. Let's see. Somebody says they're really enjoying the webinar. Another person says they've been listening to Abraham several hours a day for the last 8 days, and then boom, all of a sudden they get to play this game.
Yes. So I teach values and goal setting all the time. My book is one of the exercises in my book is about defining your own personal values. I've done that exercise so many times. In November, I did that exercise again, and the first time in my life I wrote down the word prosperity. It was the number 2 value that I wrote down during that exercise that I did in November. And then here a month later, the first guy who ever said, "You're not the punk you're pretending to be, let's have you become somebody different," is, he said that to me 30 years ago, and now here it is. He's telling me about the prosperity game. So I thought, wow, hey, this is great. Timing is that, and you know what? It's about that vibration you put out. This is a great example. Is once you start to put out that vibration, look what's all of a sudden starts coming to you. Um, this game's been around for a long time, but all of a sudden I find out about it right after I write down that as one of my values. Is that, that's that part of we manifest our results from no thing. So that's
Hmm.
that's great.
One of the things that you said that really has been a recurring thing for me is the idea of having prosperous friends around me, like being sure that the people that want to come with me and that continue to be surrounded by prosperous and abundance thinking people has been important. So,
Yes, that is that's one of the reasons I'm hanging out with you, Andrea.
mhm.
That's why I like you. And you know what? Um, this is, as I was watching who was registering on this game, I've got to say that about 20% of the people I've met personally, um, at some event or another, um, and I've got to say I've got friends that I've met in the wine industry. I have friends that I've met in the personal development industry, in the network marketing industry, and there are people on here I haven't even met yet. But I am so excited that everybody is here. I'm looking so forward to seeing what it is that you start posting next Monday. That's January 28th. That we're going to start posting these. Uh, you're going to start getting your check, and you're going to start posting. And it's very simple. How did you come about the money, and what are you going to spend it on? Where did it come from, and what are you going to do with it? And then the three great questions, and it's at the bottom of every single one of these pages uh, on our workbook, and that is it possible? Is it okay? And am I ready? So I hope you're ready because I'm ready. I'm excited. Hey, don't forget, invite your friends all weekend. You'll get the email on Monday with the check, and we're going to get started on creating the wildest dreams for our life to explode into things that we haven't even dreamed about yet, because it's coming from our desire that are fulfilled every day, because we're creating results easily and effortlessly, and they are quick and lasting results. So let's get started. See you guys on Monday. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for your time. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Kelvin.
Thanks.
Talk to you later.